Good. All right then. What did we say? Gentle, stretchy, but not too much like rest. So can you have your strap and blocks to hand just in case you decide to use them? You might not. And actually, since it's you and me, can you let me know how you feel about lunges? Are you all right on your knees in general? Thumbs up will be...
if I use blocks, it's better.
Yeah, so you can use your blocks. I recommend using the blocks because it's much nicer, but it would be nice to do some of these stretches more actively in lunge position.
Just give me a heads up when I need to grab them.
Okay, cool.
To the side.
Awesome. Right. So let's start seated in that case. I'm going to sit on a cushion because as I was sort of running through earlier on, I sat down in cross legs, which is my preference, and my knees were quite high, so a little bit tight in the hips, even though I've actually done some strength today, but a bit tight. Right. Just sitting really nice and tall. We'll pause just to arrive. I would close your eyes just to sort of feel a bit more centered for a moment. Start to gently draw up through the spine, maybe as you breathe in, and feel your shoulders lower from your earlobes and feel a little bit of a lift through the crown of the head. If you are sitting cross-legged, then see if you can let your knees and your thighs and your hips just relax a little bit. So they're not going to just suddenly drop open if they're feeling tight today, but there is a feeling of being able to soften into the legs a little bit, just internally. Just have a few breaths. Stuff. So if your eyes are closed, you can allow them to open if you want, but you actually don't have to. I'm going to, because that's kind of the vibe I'm in today. Fingertips can just rest behind you on the floor, gently press into the hands and slightly lift through the spine, draw the shoulders back, maybe lift the chin a little bit, gazing upwards. Have a breath or two here if fingers are okay. You don't actually have to use hands for this, but I do quite like it if my hands are not aching. And then soften down. On an inhale, let's reach the arms up into a nice big circle. And then on an exhale, bring the elbows in towards the waist, squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze the chest open, gaze up. Have a breath. You can go as firmly as you want with all of this. Let's circle up again. And one more time, just squeeze. Elbows in. I actually bring them a little bit behind my waist so that there's a sense of really drawing back, but it depends on what's comfortable for you. When you're ready, let's inhale one more time up. And exhale, weave fingers together just behind your back in the small of the back. So you make a little rosebud with your hands. Press the thumbs into the small of the back, squeeze the elbows together, push the chest forward and lift up. So just a little sequence of chest openers. Lovely. And release the hands. Let's bring the fingertips just in front. Take a really nice deep breath in and just a soft forward fold here. So start by walking the hands forward a few steps and then round forwards as much as feels nice for you, and do let your spine round. We'll do some more active stretches in a moment. I just want to warm through the spine a little bit. So you can let the spine curve. Once you've got as far down as you can and you can feel a decent stretch in the hips, allow your head to bow. So the head becomes heavy, maybe the neck gets a bit of a stretch. Really, really let the head go because you will be gazing right back. Like if you could see through your body, you'd be looking at the wall behind you. And deep breaths. And when you're ready to come up, lift the head first and come up quite actively. So press the chest forward, come up with a nice flat back. Bring the hands down by the sides. Let's reach one arm, left arm for argument's sake, all the way up. And then again, round into a side stretch and make your side body feel really long. So we don't need to reach unless you particularly want to. I want to get a feeling of really deep stretching rather than reaching too far. So if possible, the elbow can come to the ground, the top arm can be quite heavy. And we're going to use the weight of this top arm to kind of weigh the side body down a little bit. Just keep breathing nice and rhythmically through all of this, just natural breaths. And when you're ready, let's come back up to center on an inhale if you can, and then just rock it over to the other side. I am actually feeling fairly well grounded at this point, but don't worry too much if your knee lifts at this stage. This is kind of a nice way of winding up the energy levels rather than hammering it too much. Nice, and when you come back to center, let's take both arms forward and up, just softly. We'll just take a normal twist. So left hand over to right thigh somewhere, right hand either on the floor or behind the waist, and rotate the chest. You need to keep the spine really tall. So just start to bring a little bit more integrity into this, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Right shoulder drawing back if you're turning to the right, chest opening up. You can turn your head if your neck is feeling okay, but I do find that twists are slightly less gorgeous when you turn your head too much, so you choose what you want to do with that. On an inhale, come to center, sweep the arms up, and we'll just go back the other way. Right hand to left thigh, left hand behind, rotate as far as is comfortable for you. Really think about the stretchiness of this. Again, only turn the head if it feels kind of nice. I'll squeeze for the shoulder blades. Lovely. Let's rotate back to center. I'm going to move my cushion. We don't need it just yet. You can roll over your knees, come to all fours. And we'll have some rounds of cat-cow. Make them just feel really nice for you. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Start to inhale, lift the heart, lift the tailbone, belly drops down. And exhale to round the spine. So gentle flow, continual movement. And if you can, maybe bring a little softness to the elbows. So there's not so much of this sort of stringent lengthening through the arms, but using the elbows to help get a really nice sense of curve through the spine. And just move quite water, keep the movement almost liquid in the body. I'm just trying to find that sense of looseness. And it's particularly nice to do loose movements at home because no one can see you. You can just enjoy letting go. I feel it's harder to get this going in class. Really nice. Okay. So if you're loving cat-cow, I do recommend just sticking with it. But otherwise, we can have a few rounds of, I'm going to say dynamic thread the needle. But if you would prefer to hold, you can hold. I'm going to move. So left hand is going to stay on the floor. Right hand is going to reach up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, just sweep it across under the arm. You can set it down if you want. You don't have to float it. Inhale to open up. Think of this as a twisting sequence. Exhale to close. That's 2. I'm going to do 5 maximum. Number 3, let your body move freely with the movement. Don't lock anything off. 4. Open up. 5. Nice and open. Exhale to close. And let's just stay closed for a moment here. So turn your head to the left. And then if you want to deepen, wrap your left arm around your back with the palm outwards and maybe rotate the chest, gaze up towards the ceiling. Just go lightly and gently. We're not going to be here for ages. This is not yin practice today. So just breathe. Otherwise, you can just stay as you are if you don't like this little compression. Release the left hand. And on an inhale, untangle yourself, open right up into your open twist and switch sides. So right hand comes down, left hand draws up, exhale to close. Inhale to open, 5 rounds, a mini hold, and then an open twist. 3. Tonight, I do like keeping this one moving actually. 4. A little bit of strength for the arms. 5, this time when we close, optional, you can hold for a couple of breaths and take the bind. So you could turn your head to the right, wrap your right arm around your waist and rotate your chest to the right, maybe gaze up. There's no rush, I might be moving quite fast because when I'm moving and teaching, my breaths are a bit shorter. And may have some excess energy. Sometimes you don't know until you're on the mat. Lovely. On an inhale, let's open it up again. Right hand to the floor if you bound. Open up the left arm, open twist, and let's bring the left hand down. I'd like to do our extended child's pose lunge move, technical name. So take the right leg out to the side in any format that you like. If you prefer to have the toes up, you can do that. I quite like to have the toes forward. And I want to open more through the chest. So I'm going to walk the hands forward, but also take them out wide. You can keep them forward and sit your bum back as far as you want, but I quite want to tuck my toes behind me and take the arms out wide and let the chest sink down. It's quite a nice, not too full on stretch for the shoulders, but also the inside of this extended leg. If it feels bad on your hip, you can leave it out and just have a good child's pose, but quite an active one with toes tucked. Because we will do the inner thigh in another way at some point anyway, so don't worry about it if it's a bit much. Okay. When you're ready, you can just switch sides. So bring hands under shoulders, float it up, and take the other leg out if you're doing the other leg. If you're not, just have another child's pose. Just keep child's posing. Toes tucked, just to keep things alive a little bit if you can. Lengthen forward first, see how your shoulders feel, and maybe take the arms out wide. Stretch in. First priority is going to be really the inner thigh. And maybe the inside of the calf and the ankle. Then for me, it's toes, because my toes just really feel tucked toes a lot. I find these toe stretches quite, it's a strong sensation. Then maybe shoulders, arms. One more breath here. We'll bring the hands under the shoulders again. Float up. Bring your left knee back under your hip. And let's slide the hands forward and come into melting heart. So bum stays in the air. Sink the chest down, and as far as possible for you, make it into a back bend. So this is the opposite of making a very strong downward facing dog. This is really letting the chest sink towards the ground, the back arch quite a lot, and the shoulder blades start to draw in. If you want to intensify it, you can press a little bit more into the hands. That's going to change the sensation quite a lot. If you sort of press into the hands and push them forward, you can tuck your toes if you want to. Soften the belly. If you can, if you feel all right with it. If it's too strong, then just relax this whole posture a little bit. I'm sort of sinking quite deeply here. Right, so keeping the hands where they are, let's just start to lift. So lift the hips back over the knees, and we're going to take the hands a little bit wider if they're not sort of at least as wide as the shoulders, and just roll forward onto your belly. If you want to keep it strong, you can come to this sort of half plank and tuck the elbows in, lower down. Come all the way down Let's just carry on with the shoulders. We'll do some back bending as well. Forehead can stay on the floor, but let's take the arms out wide, turn your head to the right, use your right hand to roll the body onto its left side. We've done this loads of times. It just goes very, very well with thread the needle. So you're lying on your left side, your top leg, I would sort of suggest, if you're going to do anything with it, maybe just bend the knee and put the foot flat on the floor. You can lengthen the leg behind you or leave it stacked if you prefer. But see if you can really just let your body roll back as much as you can. Let it have a stretch for the left pectoral muscle and a squeeze for the left shoulder blade. Head lolls down. You can have a cushion under the head if you want. Let's just stay here for a few beats. It's a nice stretch. If you are ready, you can stay longer if you want, because this is a really good one. You can roll onto your other side. So I'm just going to switch sides. Both arms out, right arm stays extended, roll the body onto the right side. Left leg can do whatever it needs to, extend back. Sit on the floor with the knee pointing up. Just perhaps notice which side this feels better on. And by better, I don't mean more bendy. I mean where you have like more of that sensation of needing a stretch, which could involve that kind of bruisey feeling. Because it might give you an idea of which shoulder, which side of the chest is tighter. I mean, just noticing is useful. It might even mean that during the course of the week, you might notice if you tend to lift one shoulder or tense it up more than the others. The other three. A few more breaths, we'll take a few more. Nice. So stay longer if you want to. When you're ready, we'll come onto our front. So I'm going to do some back bending. So if you would prefer to stay in this longer, then you can join in with the back bends whenever you're ready. Like if you prefer Sphinx, I always think that staying in Sphinx or supported Sphinx is a really valuable thing to do. So you're absolutely welcome to just stay in Sphinx for the whole duration of the back bends, because it's so nourishing. But otherwise, forehead can come to the floor. I would like to do some mini cobras. So hands under the shoulders. Just make sure the elbows are drawing back and down. You can start to just pull your shoulders away from your ears. Legs can be as wide as you want. Wider can be more comfortable if your low back is tight. When you're ready, we'll just work with the breath. So just going to inhale, press into the hands, lift and gaze forward. Don't make these too intense, just exhale down. We'll pulse through these little cobras. And if you can keep them not too intense, then you are going to notice actually some freedom might start to come through the back body, and just a little bit of liveliness. So as soon as you sort of feel like you've had your fill, I think I'm probably going to do about 5 of these and I'm on 4. You can come straight down and just take a little breather. I'm just going to do one more, my last one. If you like your back bend, you can always hold it for a beat. But then when you're ready, you can come down, stack hands under the head. Either take the legs wide or turn the toes in and heels flop out. And I just like to take a moment to check in, because even though we've only done actually very gentle stuff, it's worth checking. When you've had continual movement, you get a little bit of a sense of whether your energy levels are draining or building. So even with stretchy things, you really have to check in. It is a Sunday after all, and a busy one at that. So So deep breaths. This is Crocodile Pose. And Crocodile Pose is beautiful natural back bend, and it's very safe. So if you would like to stay here, it's a very nice posture. It's a yin style posture. I'm going to offer a little bit of back strengthening, which we've done before, and it's not that hardcore. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to do it or whether you want to stay and rest in your back bend, crocodile or sphinx. Otherwise, head can rest on the floor, and what we're going to do is just bring the thighs together, knees together, toes together, and you want to sort of slightly pull up through pelvic floor and abdomen. It's not firm engagement necessarily, just whatever is available for you. And it's a small lift of the legs on the exhale. So as you exhale, just lift the legs like you're trying to pull them away, and then inhale down and do maybe 5 of those maximum. We're not going for full heat. 3, 4, and 5. When you've had your 5th one, lower down. If that felt okay and your toes aren't cramping like mine, you can try replicating that movement with just upper body. So legs stay down, but they stay clamped together. Hands can rest just behind the ears, but you're not using your neck for any of this or your arms. And on an exhale, a gentle pulling in, and then lift the head, but you're still gazing at the floor. So don't try and lift the chin, and then inhale down. So it's like a little upside down sit up. 2, 3, just 5, 4, that's 1, 5, and release. Hands under head. Take the legs out a little bit wider. And last option, and this is a held back strengthener, it's for your back core. And if you would like to do it, you can do just arms or just legs, or you can do both arms and legs. So arms come down by the sides, and it's like you're trying to, it's going to be like you're trying to touch your toes with your fingers. So on an exhale, just a gentle scoop, pelvic floor, belly, and then lift as if you're doing a back bend without hands. You're still gazing at the floor, legs and chest lift. And it's 5, 4, keep breathing, 3, 2, 1. Release everything. Just a little bit of something, a little pep. Take the arms out a bit wider, point the fingers out, let's have seal. Seal is so nice, isn't it? Take the legs out wider and draw the shoulders back and down, gazing a little bit towards the front of the mat. Press into the hands, open up the chest. I love seal. Make sure you're quite comfortable. Again, you can do this in Sphinx if you're not keen on seal, if you're putting too much weight through your hands. But let's just roll the shoulders from side to side. So right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Maybe have a little look down the side body. Inhale to center, other way. Just move it from side to side. Nice shuffle. Feels quite nice for the waist. If your arms get tired, you can come down. We're going to move towards child's pose again in a moment. Actually feels really nice in my hips today. So I will keep us here all day because I've just clearly just found my sweet spot. We'll come back to center when you're ready. Release down a little bit, bring hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, let's keep the knees wide and sit right back into a wide-legged child's pose. Slide the arms forward. Have a good stretch, just enjoy it, and a little bit of a hip stretch. Feels quite nice. I'm just going to take my 80s leg warmers off. And if you are a person who gets cold hands or cold feet, I can highly recommend actually leg warmers and ankle and wrist warmers do work. They really do. Okay. So let's have down facing dog, I reckon. Knees come back in, tuck toes, sit back. If you're watching the video, the dolphin is always allowed, as is melting heart. Hands at least as wide as the shoulders, whatever you're doing.
Let's square up, inhale, lift your hips up and back. Ease your way into your downward facing dog. Make it comfortable, feel like a triangle. You can make it shorter if you prefer a shorter dog, or wider if you prefer a wider dog, in any direction, forwards, backwards, sideways. It's up to you whether it's a Chihuahua or an Afghan hound, but don't worry today about strengthening it unless you particularly want to. If you're strengthening it, then you're going to draw your shoulder blades around your chest and really get that slight sense of doming through the upper back. Because we're stretching today, and this is, you know, it's not a great habit to get into, but because we're stretching, letting the shoulders slide down the back and the chest sink towards the floor can feel very nice. Pedal. Anytime you need a rest, you go ahead and take it. I love being in downward dog. I find it extremely energizing, whether I'm tired or not. So you get to choose. Okay, so going down, back into child's pose. Sit back, this time a tighter child's pose if it's possible. So not knees wide, knees parallel. You can have as much space as you need between them, around the spine a little bit. Bring the hands together, cross the thumbs, leave the elbows on the floor and draw the hands back towards the back of the neck as far as they'll go. Just a little stretch of the arms. Lovely. And we are going to do some of those little lunges. So when you're ready, come back up to kneeling, walk your hands back in, grab your blocks if you like to use them. So if you like to use blocks, I'm going to use my blocks as well. I do like blocks because it is a good way of getting quite a deep stretch, but not weight bearing through the hands too much. Also, and again, this is optional because we'll do both types. And if you're worried about cramp, then this is a not for you. Let's just come up high into this kneeling position and step the right foot forward. Blocks near your front foot. Discipline. That front knee, your right knee, needs to not overshoot the ankle. Once this becomes a discipline, then it will never go away from you. But today, we're not taking that knee in front of the ankle in this posture. It's all right to take the knee in front of the ankle, it's just not in this posture. Let the hips sink down as much as they want, and it's up to you whether you flatten that back foot or not. And you can keep your chest as high as you want. There's room for back bends in these postures. In fact, what I will suggest is a little side stretch for those who might want it. Left hand stays on the block. You can a little bit of weight bearing through that left hand if you want. Take the right arm up and then just gently draw across the side over to the left. It's quite nice. You can do both sides. You don't have to stay for ages. We'll switch sides when you're ready. Right hand comes down, left hand draws up, and reach across. It's actually nicer in this direction for me, but it might not be for you. And all this time, the left hip flexor and the quad is stretching out. Come back to center. We're going to sit it back. So take your bum back and lengthen out that front leg. If you can, keep the foot on the floor. You can keep a bend in the knee, but what we're looking for is the hamstring stretch here. So you can draw the blocks back. If you're well, happy and comfortable, you can fold. This is a half split. You can fold over the shin. It's different for everyone. And it's different depending on the time of the day, the time of the week, what you've been doing. This is a really nice, I find this really lovely. When you're ready, we'll come to our halfway lift. So if you're using blocks, it's the same thing as any other halfway lift. You just lengthen up, open up the chest, so you're kind of tall. And let's bend that front knee again, tuck the back toes, and just for a breath or two, lift the knee and stretch back. So it's lengthening out that back foot and getting a nice stretch into the back toes.
Just use your blocks to help you make it feel all right. Really good. Okay, so got the blocks there. Let's step forward and we'll have a half sun salutation and come back down and do the other side. So soft forward fold to start with. If you've got your blocks in front of you, you can just have a little, you can just dangle and hold on to the blocks. You've got a sense of how tight your hamstrings are feeling. So how straight your legs are is entirely your choice. Opposite elbows and opposite hands, just have a little roll of the shoulders, nothing too intense, nothing particularly major. Feet want to be under the hips or wider, or you can have toes together, heels a little bit separate if you like that midline approach. Most people probably shouldn't do that. And then soften down, soften the knees, inhale to reach the arms up all the way into tall mountain, arms extended, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Straight into an inhale, circle up. Palms together, if you can. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Remember, if you've got your blocks, you can use them. Exhale, release from the hips. This time we're going to step the right foot back, all the way back into our low lunge. So right foot goes all the way back, lower the right knee, grab your blocks and arrange yourself into your version of a comfortable deep lunge. Left knee over left ankle or slightly behind it, preferably not ahead of it, because that's not what we're doing. Just a really nice, strong, disciplined posture. And again, you can just focus in on being in the lunge, the hips sinking, all of that stuff. If you want a little bit of a back bend, you sort of come up a little higher, you can draw the blocks back a little bit, press the chest forward and maybe slightly gaze up, which is almost crescent moon pose, but without the arms. Just for the sake of this recording, a lunge doesn't have to look like this. It can be box shaped. It just depends on the day and your body. Hamstring stretch. Oh no, side stretch. So take your time. There's no rush. If you don't want to do the side stretch, you will not hurt yourself for not doing it. So we keep the right hand down, left arm draws up and over. So this is the slightly less satisfying variation on my part, but maybe you like it better. So using the block to hold me at this point, I'm being quite lazy actually. Inhale to center and then over to the other side. Again, just see. These are very strong, these lunges. Basically, the point is hip opening and quads and hip flexors. So we'll do it lying down. You won't miss anything if you're leaving out your lunges. And down, hamstring. Sit, bum back. Foot flat on floor. And you can rest into this as much as you want. Don't worry, Ali, if you need to rest, we can, we'll do these, we'll do the hamstrings with a strap lying down as well. So we'll have lots of options. With your deep breaths. You can feel your batteries. With things like this, sometimes the batteries just start to run out because they are deep. When you're ready, come into your halfway lift. So, you've got your blocks there, you can lengthen up a little bit. Sink back into your lunge, tuck the back toes and lift the back knees, just stretch out the back of the leg. We're going to step forward, do a half sun salutation back to downward facing dog and more seated work. So step the right foot forward. If you want to come to standing, it's not a big sun salutation. Soft forward fold. Inhale to circle up. You can use your blocks all the way through if you want. Exhale, fold again, all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. We're going to walk back to downward facing dog. And here, because we've done a little bit of leg stretches, it should feel a little nicer. So a little bit of a pedal, don't have to be here for very long. I'm going to come back and do another seated flow. Send the hips back, stretch it out.
always take as long and as many fidgets as you like in your downward facing dog if you're a fan of it, and by no means is everybody a fan of it. Knees come forward and down, just a little bit of a cross of the ankle, walk the hands back. When we come to another seated, we'll come back to a seat. I'm using a cushion. Very unusual to see me do anything seated without a cushion. Right, I'm going to use a strap just to make this nicer. Don't have to. If you're feeling limber, you can do all of it without a strap. So right leg forward. Stretches that you already know, but we're just going to start with more of a hamstring stretch. We'll work a little bit diagonally. So right leg is forward, right in line with the hip. If you need a little fold in the right leg, that's fine. You can even put a cushion underneath it if your hamstrings are feeling super tight. And strap that extended leg. You can see I'm still helping my hips here. Sit tall. The strap helps you to keep your leg engaged. You can just walk your hands down the strap with the chest going forward. But if you're feeling really, really tired, then I recommend going as far as you can, releasing the strap and just curving into a yin variation. But if you want that deep stretch, you're going to reach forward and stay very switched on. And there's middle ground there as well if you want it. If you find there's not enough space with your body meeting your leg, then just come a little bit to the inside of the leg. It's just as good. So I'm not keen because I don't need, so straps are great if you need them, but they're not great if you don't need them. If you don't need it, you can take hold of your foot, which can be rather nice for the warming aspect. You just go as far as you want. Nobody goes further than, well, hypermobile people will bring their head to the floor, and that's not good. But you can relax head to shin if you can get there. Breathe here. We stay here for a little bit. Again, you can have your hands on blocks if you're quite high up, as long as you keep your legs switched on. Nice. When you're ready, lift the head, walk back up. We're going to go through all our familiar half lotus-esque twist positions. So the leg goes, your right leg goes more out to the side. So we're just going to go more into the hip joints and the inner thighs. Same thing again. You can use the strap. This is going to release loads of tension and hopefully it will help you feel more limber if you've got a good, a quite busy week next week. So you can use your strap if you want to. It's a much wider position I'm in. You can't tell because I'm working sideways. Again, reach forward, make your choices. Are you going to keep it switched on or are you going to soften in? Your choice. Just make sure you start from the hips and then release once you've gone as far as you can. Again, I'm happy to go in with a strap, but I don't like to keep it there. And I like to stay on the inside of my leg for this one. And just have a breathe. So with any legs outstretched posture, cushion under knee is always allowed. Always, always, always. It's whatever you need. So even if you're holding onto a strap, if you're able to hold onto your strap with one hand, that's fine. If you're holding onto your toe, then just bring your elbow to the inside of your shin and there's the room for that twist here if you want it. You could hold onto your foot if you want to be off the strap. You can wrap your left arm around your back and just start to rotate your chest. A little bit open, so you're not going to rotate it all the way to the left, but you can turn your head, maybe gaze up if it's all right for you. So that's your little twist. And then if you want to take your arm, left arm up and over, that's your side stretch. Just be very careful not to lean forward too much. So it's all open posture and it's all in line with the hips. This one I love. It just really, I find it quite enlivening actually, but it has to be the right
level of intensity. Aunday, when you're ready. Oh, chase, come all the way back up. And let's go for Lord of the Fishes. So extended right leg comes over left leg, which is wrapped around. If you don't like to wrap your leg around, or if you don't fancy this tight bind, you can lengthen out the left leg. Stay nice and tall. Right hand stays on the floor just behind you or wraps around the waist. Left arm draws up, and on your exhale, we're twisting to the right. You can either wrap your arm and hug your leg, or you can bring the elbow to the outside of the leg. It's just depending on how bendy you're feeling today. So the hug is lovely, and sometimes going in with the hug feels good. And then if you've got the room, you can bring your elbow round, chest opening out to the right. Again, now maybe turning the head will feel okay because we've done loads of shoulders. So just see what goes on for you. Nice. When you're ready, let's inhale back to center. We can go into pigeon from here if you fancy it. So this left leg underneath needs to spiral back behind, right leg stays in front, and you just shuffle yourself onto your hips. It's a rotation. You'll need to take a moment just to make it comfortable. Some people always prefer to go in through downward facing dog. Hips can float. Start high, draw the shoulders back, open up a little bit through the front, and then sink, sink, sink. Again, for the purpose of the recording, if you don't, pigeon is a really, or it's divisive, not everybody likes it. Figure of four stretches are your way in if you're not doing that, and I'll do that. I'll show that now. Figure of four, laying on your back, right ankle over left thigh. Maybe scoop up the left thigh if you need to, squeeze it in. And that is your reclining pigeon. It feels pretty nice, actually. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. Hip opening and glute stretching. So let yourself have one more nice breath on this side, and we'll do the whole sequence, if I can remember it, over on the other side. But we'll start with pigeon and work backwards, just because I like to make things really hard for myself. So hands come under shoulders, tuck the toes. Obviously, if you're in reclining pigeon, you're just swapping legs. Tuck the toes of the left foot. I like to go through downward facing dog. So it's just a matter of picking yourself up into dog, but you can go through all fours or just shuffle if you want. Left leg comes up and forward, settle into pigeon. Make it comfortable. The hips can float. You can have cushions under your hips to support them if you need to. Shoulders draw back and down. Always start high. So you have a really nice posture, feeling of openness. As you reach forward and exhale, you're coming in with a really good anatomical integrity, and you know that you're getting the best out of this posture. Pigeon is a beautiful posture, but it's so hard for so many people. What is the point of doing it if you're sort of having that catching your breath feeling and you haven't actually gone in right? You might as well just do it right. Breathing and just remembering glutes. Left glute should feel like kind of a tight sensation around your left butt cheek. If it's not enough, so I rarely talk about this. If it's not enough, and this is so easy, the front leg can come all the way out to a right angle. I've never met anyone who can do pigeon with their leg that way, and you can switch the foot on as well, anywhere from tucked all the way through to forward. In a loud, I've never met anyone who can do that, not to any benefit anyway. I think it's sort of a bit of nonsense, a little bit of nonsense for most people. Yeah. One more breath, enjoy it, stay as long as you want. I'm just going to finish this breath and we're going to turn this into Lord of the Fishes. So wherever you are, walk the hands back up. And so we need to bring right leg around, left leg over the top. That's right. If you were following me, if you weren't following me, then you're in a pickle because I don't know where you're going to go the other way. We're twisting to the left. So left hand behind, right arm draws up. You can either hug your leg or you can go for the full rotation. Chances are you're warm enough for it. So just see how you go and then turn the chest to the left. Because sometimes it's nice to start with a hug anyway, isn't it? Just to get into position. Nice and tall through the crown of the head, don't forget to breathe because it's compressive, so it's easy to forget to breathe. Okay. And inhale, we're going to come back to center. Take the left leg out wide. Have your strap if you need it. You don't have to use your strap if you don't need it. I mean, I really love the gear, but sometimes if you don't need the gear, it can be as much of a hindrance as not having it if you do need it. Just rotate. So we need to do these folds in the right order, regardless. So shoulders back, strap up your foot if you need to, or just reach forward with the chest. Stay in good alignment. So keep the chest lifted and the spine long, right up until you've gone as far as you can, and then make your choices. Are you keeping it switched on? Or are you going to fold and round into your yin variation? For people with a lot of tightness, the folding and the rounding can be very useful. You stay down and you breathe because you're less likely to rebound the muscles when you come back up. You know, you might leave a little softness in there. Make it work. Forcing the legs long, it's no good, won't work. To breathe, just keep breath flowing. I mean, we are, the sort of general vibe is the last 10 minutes of class, so keep it nice and fluid. Don't drain yourself at this point. Hopefully the engine will be sort of just nicely idling for a bit. If you fancy your twist, and it is in every way optional, left hand, or you can keep your strap in place if you want, but the left elbow needs to be on the inside of the left leg. Right hand can wrap around the waist. All of this is optional. Rotate the chest forward a little bit. It will feel like the chest rotating back. Right shoulder draws back, maybe gaze up towards the ceiling. This for me feels far tighter and worse on this side, so you might just choose not to do it on one side. When you're ready, if you want to, right arm can reach up and then maybe go over. Just depends. That actually feels a bit better. If you've got your blocks to hand, there's scope there to put a block on the outside of the leg so that you've just got somewhere to rest your hand if you can reach. If you're kind of close to your toes, then that can be quite nice. Just depends on you. Breathe, soften in. Trying to not twist
stretch to the side and lean forward. Everything really needs to be in line with the hips here.
Nice. And when you're ready, you can come back up. Yes, lovely. We need to take this into our front waist side, the hamstring stretch. Legs, last one in this seated position of this flow. We'll have a little butterfly stretch after, and that what that looks like will be optional based on what you need. So strap for this. You can, again, cushion under the knee is always allowed with an extended leg. Shoulders draw back, chest lifts forward, a little bit of a lift. It's like you're leading with your chin. Come forward with a flat back and then either round it. You can release the strap if you can absolutely promise yourself that you won't try and lever yourself down using your foot or your leg on the floor. And then fold to wherever you get to. Just always remembering, especially if you watch the screen, it's never a good idea to copy whoever's on screen or whoever's in the room, if you're in a room. It's all about the sensation in your own legs. Long feeling reach in the middle of the muscles between the joints. Never tugging at the joints, never pain. Don't try to prove anything. Lovely. When you're ready, we'll inhale, lift the head and walk the hand back in. Butterfly or diamond. So this is quite intense, and if you prefer to, you can lie down on your back, the soles of the feet together and the knees drop open, and it's a very similar thing, but just for the sake of building energy before we lie down and have some last leg stretches and bits and bobs. This is quite a good one. So you can have your legs in a big diamond shape. This is your diamond yin variation. The very intense one where you need to keep it all a bit more switched on will go more into the hips and the feet are closer to the body. Toes, you bind your feet, hands somewhere, ankles, feet, thighs, wherever you can reach. Chest draws open and up. You can use your strap if you want as well for this. And then elbows draw wide and you reach forwards. This is actually for me quite a small movement because I don't do it very often, but it feels amazing in the inner thighs, the hips, the groin. It should not be painful. Butterfly variation is much more accessible for most people. Not butterfly, diamond variation. And yeah, some people like to use the strap. So sometimes small movements they just work. I'm still sitting on my cushion as well. Lovely. When you're ready, you come up, knees back together. We're going to come onto our backs for the last 6-7 minutes. You can make this as restful as you need to. Feet flat on the floor, roll back and down onto your back. So we've had a lot of hamstring stretches. We don't need to do loads more unless you're watching this and you haven't done the seated ones because they are hard. There's no question about seated work being hard, it just is. But otherwise you can. So you can spend longer in these if you want to. I want to get all sides of the leg. Left foot stays down, right leg stretches up, strap around all of the right foot. For this sequence, we're not going to spend as long on them, but you can press the heel up, draw the toes back, and your leg should be feeling pretty nice. Actually, we've done a lot. Draw the leg towards the body. If you're still feeling super tight, then it's inhale to take the leg away and exhale to draw the leg in gently. No pulling, no shoving, no tugging. So just sometimes the movement is useful to just not fall asleep anyway. Take it out, you need it.
With 2 more breaths, about 5 in total. So if you're coming away from hamstrings and going towards IT band, you can move from side to side if you wish. Otherwise, we'll just take the leg across the body just until you feel that, frankly, quite horrible feeling down the side, outer edge of the right leg. I wouldn't call it pain. I would just call it shit. It's a horrible feeling. I've had my IT band released, and it really hurts when you do it with a person who knows how to do it. I don't like it. Okay, stay as long as you need to. When you're ready, inhale to center, exhale, take the leg out to the side. And this is the bit that I like best, but most people don't. You can rest your arm on your elbow just to allow a little bit more room. And today, just for the sake of keeping it really easy, if you roll over, you roll over. As long as you're getting a good amount of really tasty stretch through the inner thigh, that's what you want. Maybe the inside of the calf as well. Nice. One more breath, and when you have completed your breath, switch sides. Right foot on the floor, left foot in the strap if you're using the strap, whatever you're using. And again, if you want to keep it moving, inhale to take the leg away, exhale to draw the leg in. Just see where that takes you. If you're feeling fairly limber as you are, or you want that intensity, just bring the leg in. Just wherever it gets to you. You need to soften, the knee can be bent, the foot can be relaxed, the leg can go quite far away. All we're looking for is sensation. A lot of this work does benefit from eyes closed, because you can bring your focus inwards and work with the part of the anatomy that we're working, which is inside the body. When you're ready, it's across the body. Take that leg across the body. Oh God, it's just horrible. Just to when you get that sensation, outer edge of the thigh. Sometimes we all have to do things we don't like. And when you're ready, it's back to center and open it out to the side. And sometimes you just earn the things you do like. It doesn't, my God. Let that leg go as far as it wants to go. When you work the inner thigh, a very little range of movement for most people. It's probably going to be, I don't know, 11, maybe 11 o'clock in the clock face for a lot of people. You don't need to let that, but it's unlikely for most people that the leg is going to go all the way down to the ground or even near the ground. I left my phone on, sorry. Lovely. When you're ready, bring it in, bring it in. Lovely. We're going to have happy baby to finish. Knees to chest. When you are ready, there's no rush. I realize it's 6:10. Have a nice rock and roll first. Just enjoy it. You can make it as tight as you want. If you can get your knees right in and hug your elbows, then feel free. Just make it feel good for you. And then whatever you need, really, but I like to finish on happy baby or wide leg knees. It feels right. We've not done a huge amount of hip opening, but we're ready for it. Hands behind the thighs, a wide knee, chest, and stop here. You have a little rock. You can even do hip circles, so draw the knees out if you want to. Otherwise, happy baby. Knees around the ribs, hands go wherever they can reach. You can use a strap around the soles of the feet if you're working towards happy baby. Take the legs up wide, strap around the soles of the feet. And then use the strap to draw the knees down. It's a really good way of getting your hips to release. Whether you're doing happy baby or not, if you like it, just as a reference for the future, those alternate leg lengtheners are really nice, especially when the legs have been nicely warmed through, but also you can do both legs for a sort of reclining wide angle pose. It does feel really good when your legs are warm enough. When you're ready, knees come back together. One more little hug, and we'll come to seated and close with alternate nostril breathing, because it's just nice, isn't it? When you need to stay a little bit lively. So make your way towards the seat. Supported, no strain, you want to be comfortable.
If you prefer any other breathing exercise, and you do know them all, don't you, Ali? So you can do any version you prefer. Left hand, this version, left hand rests on the thigh, right fingertips rest between the eyebrows, draw your focus in. I'm just going to block the right nostril with the thumb and inhale through the left. Block the left and exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right, and if it's safe and comfortable, you can hold your breath. Release your hand, bow the head. As soon as you're ready to exhale, just lift the chin and let the breath escape between slightly parted lips. You can come back to center and just check in. As we did at the beginning, take a moment. Become aware how you're feeling, what your next starting point is. Hopefully, at the very least, the alternate nostril breathing will have given you a little something to be chill, get the rest of the stuff done. When you're ready, you can gently let the eyes open, bring the hands to the heart. If you're ready to, you can always rest longer. And I hope that was good, a little bit more active than usual for a Sunday, but hopefully feels nice. Thanks, Ali.